Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. 5 wins in a row. What is this amateur hour? Okay, but we can't really go any faster. We just have to stop losing. Alright, we're blue, baby. I'll have you know, 166VDN6W, I expect a lot of support in this video. I'm 15,000 likes, or I don't release another Isaac episode until either 3 p.m. PT today or 6 a.m. PT tomorrow, depending on the time that this video comes out. The joke there, of course, being that we should never do this. That's when the videos come out anyway. So that worked out. No, but I'm being like 99.9% facetious, but it is my day off. But why am I recording Isaac then? Because I didn't record as many videos as I normally would have this week because I was in sunny and also actually kind of cold San Francisco. Oh, geez, that was close. Previewing a video game you'll hear more about. It's Earth Defense Force Iron Rain. I'm NDA'd, but, you know, not on the title of the game or what I was seeing, obviously. So, Wednesday, it was very quick, you know. I mean, it's very quick in general. It's only an hour and 40-minute flight. So, like, some of the people watching this, you probably, like, commute more than that every single day. All I'm going to say is that that's slightly misleading if you're holding that opinion. Because you also don't have to show up for your commute 2 hours early. And then go through TSA security now that the American government is actually open again. And they go, hey, take all laptops out of your bags. And then your bag goes through the scanner and they pull out your switch and they go, why did you pull your laptop out of your bag? And then I go, well, it's not a laptop. It's, you know, a portable electronic. It's really more like a tablet than anything else. And they go, are you trying to get smart? And I'm like, I'm not trying to get smart. It seems like just naturally I've got that advantage in this situation. And then the next thing you know, now he's falling asleep, and he's calling a cab, and he's having a you get the idea. Anyway, that story didn't happen. But it's what I imagine happening every time I go through American airport security. That, or I step into the full body scanner, and they accidentally crank it up too high, and it pulls all my, you know, fillings out of my teeth. Anyway, it was good. We were there only a very, very short while. We flew out Wednesday afternoon, like 1 p.m. We came back Thursday night at 7. So we really, here's basically how it worked out. We landed in San Francisco, went through traffic from SFO to downtown San Francisco for, you know, that took like 45 minutes to an hour. Had a nice dinner, visited a little bit, like for, I don't know, an hour and a half with some friends of ours, and then went to bed, woke up, did the media event, and then went to the airport. That's how, it's amazing that when you travel, Hafu tweeted the exact same thing, like literally 2 days ago or something like that. When you travel, all you do is sit down, let other people ferry you place to place, and yet it takes so much time. Anyway, I got anecdotes, but none of the anecdotes are about San Francisco. If you're from the Bay Area, I feel for you. And I don't mean that in a patronizing way. I feel for you because Vancouver is really like, it's a combination of like the Seattle and the San Francisco of Canada. You know? Culturally, we have maybe not the highest concentration of tech workers, but a high concentration of tech workers, a high concentration of hipsters. Food trends, the rest of the country sometimes views as being a little bit egregious, or kombucha. What the heck is that? And smugness. And, you know, people in San Francisco, my impression is that I don't want to suggest that they think they're better than the rest of the country, but they think that San Francisco is one of the best cities in the country for sure. A lot of the same problems, you know, we got the same attitude because, you know, the weather in British Columbia is demonstrably, objectively better than it is in the rest of Canada. Hey, bud, you leave snow out of this, okay? Bro, I like that we have all 4 seasons. I enjoy waking up 45 minutes earlier than I would have to every day of the winter so I can make sure that my car doesn't ice up on the friggin' 401. Okay, you know what? We actually do need bombs. This is fine. So and then as a result, we get made fun of by the rest of the country for it. Wow. In San Francisco, They're not even suffering as much as we are today. They're so entitled down there. But, I don't have San Francisco stories, really, for that exact reason, you know? It's kind of just, it's like the grandfather of Vancouver, you know? They get everything a little bit faster than we do, but then as soon as it makes its waves over there, we go, ooh, it's poke, but in a burrito. Well, I'll take one of those, and, how about a startup that delivers pancakes to your door called Brunchist? Give me one of those, too. Hold on, I'm caffeinating here. But I do have airplane anecdotes, if you'll allow me. Hold on, let me try to find the Tinted Rock here. This run's been a little weird. I know there's a Tinted Rock. Was there not? Did we already blow? Oh, no, it's right here. It'll hit it. Absolutely. Alright, now we can actually get a deal with the devil, potentially. Or afford a deal with the devil, I should say. But, okay. And I'm not trying to be Jerry Seinfeld here. How stupid does United Airlines think people are? That's the premise I'm going to start this bit with, okay? Because I've been in situations before, especially when weather is unpredictable and bad, i.e. the wintertime, right? Where, well, not even, okay? So I'll start with what actually happened, and then I'll get into my interpretation of it as such. Caffeine pill. Very happy to have the speed, to be honest. I will take one of these. Guppy's hairball. Probably would not be the one that I would consider most... Oh, God. Oh, Jesus! Well, there's the end of my streak. That's unexpected. We went in there with 5 Spirit Hearts and exited with 0. Incredible. Health down, Verp. I'll admit, I ran into the Verp... Or the... sorry, the Horf pills effect. But I was just panicking at that point. I was losing my mind. Well, you know what? New year, new me for the 5th time. So we checked in for our flight. And, I mean, I wouldn't say we were late to the airport, because here's the thing. They tell you to be at the airport, and I'm an early boy. I like to be early. I like to be, well, here's the thing is, I don't really want to be early and sit there twiddling my thumbs doing nothing. But, I really don't want to be late, and I also don't want to be anxious, which means it necessitates showing up early. I think that's something that, you know, late people don't understand, is that it's not about wanting to be early. It's not about oh, I love sitting in the waiting room for 25 minutes, waiting for, you know, them to call my name. You know, it's more like, I just don't, the feeling of being anxious that I'm gonna be late is unpleasant, and I would like to avoid it, if at all possible. Hold on, we got interesting things going on here. So our flight was at like 7. Which means that we, I think that'll get it. We're supposed to board starting at like 6:25. But very, very rarely do you actually board when you're supposed to start boarding. Because they're often late. Anyway. So we got to the airport at like, maybe like 5:30. And you're like, ooh, that's cutting it a little close. Let's do it, dude. 0.6 speed, I don't care. It wasn't. You know, I mean, it was. It's later than I'd like to arrive at the airport. But guess what? You know, after we got to the airport, we got through security, we still had time to eat a sit-down meal. You know, and not like cram it into our face and then get on the airplane. And board in time. Not even in time, but at like the appropriate level. You know, like we were zone 3. And as soon as we got to the gate, they were like, zone 3, please board now. It was like perfect time. So when we checked in, it wasn't like we were going to be late for our flight. But the first thing the kiosk said to us is, hey, United has agreed to waive the fee temporarily if you'd like to rebook your flight to a later one. That's where I start to ask, how stupid does United Airlines think its customers are? That you would go to the airport for, you know, the 7:05 flight, and then when you got there, you paid for the Uber, you paid for the taxi, your aunt dropped you off or something like that, you fought rush hour traffic and, you know, one of the most beleaguered cities in the United States as far as traffic goes. You made it to the airport on time. What are you going to do? Hey, United Airlines says that, get this, for free, we could sit in the airport for another 4 hours until the next flight to Vancouver. And then, you know, have exactly the same experience, but 2 hours later. Just enough time to do absolutely nothing. I literally, it offended me in the sense that it's the first time I've felt like I've got to take up the mantle of consumers' rights. I literally, and you know, I'm not making the big bucks like these CEOs, CFOs, so I don't know. But literally, I was like, conjure for me a use case where someone would arrive at the airport in time for their flight and then willingly be like, you know what? I would love to just hang out here for another 2 hours. And by the way, people, I tweeted about this, but people were like, you misread it. It means that you fly for free if you take the later flight. Wrong. The exact wording was, we will waive the fee to reschedule your flight. Because normally, if you showed up at the airport and, you know, they're like, hey, we oversold it. You'd be like, you know what, I'll willingly take the later flight. They'd be like, all right, that's $100. Don't even get me started. I mean, do get me started, because that's where we're going on this one. But, and this is not meant to rag on United, because I actually think, weirdly enough, United is one of my favorite carriers, within North America at least. You know, I fly Air Canada. I've flown Delta, American Airlines, WestJet. They're all pretty similar, you know? But this one, I always feel like Air Canada, they try to at least put on a velvet glove. They're like, hey, sorry, we, because of the realities of the airline industry, we sold 370 seats on a flight that can only sit 350 people. So 20 of you we're gonna have to betray. So, you know, temporarily, if you would like to, you can come see a gate agent and we'll reschedule you to a later flight. And you go, oh, you know, they're in a tough position. They're in a tough position. I got nothing urgent. You know, I've been talking to people at the gate that they haven't seen their families in like 6 months. I'm not going to force them to be part of this, you know, Shirley Jones lottery situation. Shirley, who wrote the lottery? Hold on. That's a good Jeopardy clue. The lottery. Shirley Jackson. Shame. Anyway. Hold up. That's why I was like, United was like, you've just been selected for a free prize. For a limited time only. Act now. You've got 60 seconds. We can put you on a later flight at no financial cost to yourself. That's not a bonus. That's a penalty. And I've been in a situation, you know, I mentioned this. I'm assuming at this point, not everybody watching has been watching for, you know, 8 years, but maybe that's incorrect. Yo, thank you for the luck upgrades. Maybe I'm wrong about that, you know? But, you know, when Kate and I went home and went to my ancestral home, I guess you should say, in like 2000, it was 2013 or 2014. It was right around Christmas. It was like December 23rd. Airport was really busy, and there was a huge snowstorm across the country. So they were having delays, and also, like, a lot of the people, it had basically happened that, like, some of the planes that were supposed to go to Toronto, can't get to Toronto. So a lot of flights had been canceled. Those people had been pushed onto our flight, and now there were like, you know, 100 oversold seats on our flight. So at first Air Canada was like, so if anybody wants to reschedule for free, you know, that'd be cool. Just come talk to us. And people were like, not today, Air Canada. And then they were like, okay, well, we'll tell you what, we'll give you $200 credit, like that you can use at the airport or you can use in flight. If you reschedule to a later flight. People were still like, okay, you're starting to sweeten the deal, but we don't know if any other planes are going to leave the city today. I'd really like to be on this one. And then they said, you know what? I'm sure they got a red telephone call from the CEO. They came over the loudspeaker and they said, anybody who gives up their seat willingly to get on a later flight today, we're going to give you $400 cash. And I saw the cell phones come out and they're like, honey, I'm going to be late. We didn't take it, but we did think about it. Thank you. I need a confidence boost now. Not because we didn't need the $400, but because we had you know, Ruka was with us, our cat. It was back when you could still fly with cats before they figured out that they're, you know, total dicks on planes. And you know, we were like, first off, we don't want to have him crap himself in the airport, and also he's freaking out, and, you know, it wouldn't have been fair to our young son. You get the idea. And we made it safely, but anyway. That's why I get offended. I'm not saying they need to pay me $400 to, you know, get on a later flight, but just don't act like it's the most, it's the greatest. Oh, why would I do that? Like, it's the greatest favor you could do for me is like, wow, I really wanted to see the late show of the SFO to YVR flight, but it was booked. You're telling me I can get it for free now? It's not Hamilton. No keys. That's a bummer. Either way. You know, and then the other thing is, I understand. And I almost tweeted, please check your large suitcases, you cheap SOBs. Because, you know, if you're not the first person to board the airplane, you have this experience where every single overhead bin is full. And then you look at what it's full with, and it just makes you mad. You know, we were in San Francisco for a day, so we only had one carry-on bag. I had to shove it under my seat both times because of, like, you know, Johnny Walker Black from the duty-free. Taking up the overhead storage bins, and people's enormous roller bags that they just don't want to pay, you know, 20 bucks to check. Now, I shouldn't be anti-consumer, you know, in that situation. It's, you know, it's everybody versus the airport. But simultaneously, you couldn't just put the Johnny Walker under the seat in front of you. Why does that have... Well, because you boarded first. And I should be more mad at the airplane. Because I think, or at the airline, I should say. Because literally every flight I've ever taken in my entire life has had this announcement. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, it's a full flight today. We will not have sufficient overhead luggage space. If you would be so kind as to take your oversized bags and speak to a flight attendant, we'll be happy to check those bags for free. Again, I understand what you're doing here. United, Air Canada, WestJet, Delta, Lufthansa, Norwegian Airlines, SAS, Korean Air, Asiana, etc., aka every airline on the planet Earth. But it is not a free service to check a bag. It is not something that people want to do, but instead are like, you know, oh, I don't want to pay 25 bucks. It's more something you do if your bag is too large. And then it's an inconvenience because you got to wait at the baggage carousel. And everybody has an experience where the airline has lost their luggage, so nobody wants to freaking check it if they can avoid it. I don't know what you do. I don't know if you get more overhead bin space. I don't know if you can just do that on an airplane. But simultaneously, it's a bit of a slap in the face. Now, air travel, I still really like, by the way. I'm not trying to complain about the fact that in an hour and 40 minutes, I was able to take a journey that would have cost people their lives, you know, 200 years ago. I'm just saying. I mean, what am I saying? I don't know. I'm just saying that I'm ignorant, but I'd like someone to explain to me. It's like the whole movie theater thing again, right? It's like, you know, why is a popcorn 12 bucks? Well, you don't understand the realities of the film industry. I wish I could, but I'm actually a little light on HP, I think. You don't understand the realities of the film industry. In order for, you know, the theater to sustain itself, the franchisee doesn't get very much from the sale of each movie ticket, so they have to sell overpriced concessions in order to keep up their high overhead costs. You know, that's fine, but, like, you know, again, it's not... I don't picture old Giuseppe, the movie theater owner, you know, from The Majestic starring Jim Carrey. Rainbow Baby. You know, I picture, like, Reed Hastings, CEO of AMC Royale Theater Chain. A 10-cent company. And please buy my $12 popcorn. Please. I shouldn't be rushing here. We should be going to the shop, but whatever, dude. Blame United. You know, it's the same thing where they're like, well, with all due respect, Mr. Letourneau, even though there's only 350 seats on the airplane, we gotta sell 370. It's just the reality of the business. You wouldn't understand. And I guess I don't. Because, you know, I'm sure that a lot of... I mean, these airlines, it's like one of the largest businesses in the world, and I understand, you know. First off, you ever look up the cost of like an Airbus A320 or a Boeing 737 or something like that? They're like hundreds of millions of dollars each. So first off, there's like a huge cost up front, and then the operating expense is high, and then, I mean, fuel cost is outrageous, etc., etc. But simultaneously, Allegiant is able to send you across the country for, you know, well, 80 bucks. And it's a crappy airline. And I think Allegiant would be like, oh, that's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to us. It's not a pleasant experience, but it's also not a pleasant experience to fly United. And like, halfway through the flight, they're like, hey, the flight attendants will be coming around with information about the new Capital One United credit card. Please stop them if you're interested. And you're like, am I being advertised to? On a tube in the sky? Is that where we're at here? And that's not just an American thing. I have had to resist the temptation of anytime that happens being like, oh, America. Because if it happened on an Air Canada flight, I would just ignore it. When it happens on an American flight, I'm like, wow, something is fundamentally rotten in the state of Denmark, you know? Anyway, that's my flight bit. You know what? I had a very positive experience on the flight. Well, I had a positive experience on both flights because it's only like 100 minutes long, right? So what did I do? I played Smash against the CPU. Training that Inkling against some level 9 CPU. And I felt, you know, I was having a great time. When I came back, I busted out like, you know, 7 wins in a row on stream as Inkling. And I was like, that's the training, dude. But actually, last night we went to a game developers function here in Vancouver. And we are not game developers, obviously. But, you know, we're part of the network of Vancouver games professionals, which is, you know, flattering. Simultaneously, what do we get? Well, -2 damage, but -2 rate of fire as well. Give me that. You know what? I'm gonna get... Oh my god, I hit the button just at the right time. I didn't want to come back as Lazarus. Not yet, anyway. Little foggy when it comes to Isaac today. You'll have to forgive me. What I was gonna say... Dude, we are knifed up here. This is beautiful. You know, there were people at this event. I remember what I was gonna say. It's very flattering, but simultaneously, you know, I've become increasingly unsocial. I want to be clear. I'm not antisocial, but I've become like the textbook introvert to some extent, which is the dictionary definition of like, I don't mind being around other people, and you know, I can talk fairly easily. I don't get anxious around other people very much, and you know, I consider myself relatively charismatic. However, being in the company, especially like loud environments with tons of people, it drains me real quick. So like, you know, Wednesday and Thursday were both like that, and then Friday we went to this, and there were probably like 70 or 80 people at this game dev thing. It was loud, and that's why, like, today literally is my day off, and I probably could get away with not working, but I'm like, you know what? I need solitude. I need me time alone in my office. This is like therapeutic for me a little bit. I just need some time to recharge. Regardless, there were people there who were insanely good at Smash, and I got into this weird situation where my wife had talked a big game about my Smash gameplay without realizing that I am an above average player, but compared to truly competitive players, like people who actually play fighting games locally on the regular, I'm garbage, right? So, you know, when I got there, some of the people were like, hey, your wife's been saying you're pretty good at Smash. Who do you main? And I was like, well, I play a variety of characters, but I've been playing some Inkling lately. And then they're like, oh, dude, Inkling is great, except, like, her spike comes out on, like, frame 12 or something like that. And I was like, oh, no. What have I gotten myself into? And I have to admit, I played someone who was very, very, very good at Smash with a variety of different characters. I won the first 2 games we played only because their controls were not set properly, so they would keep doing their recovery accidentally, which was beautiful for me. After that, I lost like 9 or 10 in a row against them. It was a very humbling experience. Fun nonetheless, though. I'm just trying to find the item room, and hopefully we can get a .01 speed upgrade in there. You know, it's weird for me. I get not accused. Accused is not the right word. People assume I'm kind of not people, fans assume I'm kind of like an antisocial hermit sort of guy. It's not the case. Especially like you know, when I was in my late teens and early 20s, I was very social. I wouldn't describe myself as like a social butterfly, but you know, every week, multiple times per week, I was like, let's hang out. We don't have to do anything, let's just hang out, let's hang out. Now as I've gotten older, it's not that I've grown out of it, it's just that, I don't know, I do genuinely like people, but, and Kate's been commenting on it too, because, you know, she's starting to get it down with this lifestyle. Hold on, what was in here? What was in there? I mean, it can't be Super Bandage. Did we not pick up Super Bandage on a, you know what, it probably was Super Bandage. Anyway. We showed up at this place at like 6:30. I don't really drink anymore, so you know, people were getting intoxicated, and that's fine. You know, I've had my fill, to be quite frank, and plus I don't want to interrupt the progress I'm making on the games. Is the thing. But once it got to be like 9:30, I was like, I gotta get out of here. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to watch tonight's Jeopardy episode before 12:30 when I'd like to be in bed. Not because I feel like a compulsion to get a bunch of sleep, but because my brain is like, bro, you're tired. And you'll feel great tomorrow if you sleep like this. Okay, or if you sleep at this time, I should say. I don't think Bookworm is worth the HP cost, quite frankly. Not with Mom's knife that's already crushing. Anyway, what was the bit here? There was no bit. It was nice to be at the party, but simultaneously, when I left, I was like, it's time. I don't think we need any of those either. And boy, what a Jeopardy episode it was. I won't spoil it for you, but my man Biff coming in hot. I don't have any Jeopardy anecdotes. I also like, I guess I do have some San Francisco anecdotes. You know, I only ate like 2 or 3 meals in the city. I really do, and, you know, feel free to, if you've been to both cities, feel free to agree or disagree with this. I really feel like San Francisco is kind of like an amusement, as compared to Vancouver. San Francisco is kind of like an amusement park circa, you know, 1965. Is got a lot of character, but also there's an element of fear. There's an element that, like, at any point, you know, you get on the ride and you're like, hey, mister, how many people have died on this ride? Here's the veil, here we go. And you know, it's like that. And Vancouver is kind of like an amusement park circa 2019, where everything is like space-age technology and you're buttoned in by like somebody with a PhD in ergonomic safety. And, you know, it's still thrilling, but simultaneously, you know, some of the more, I don't want to even say nefarious, some of the more, the rougher edges, let's say, have been sanded down. And for some people, that's cooler because it feels safer. And for some people, that's lamer because it feels like more corporate. You know, instead of having, like, you know, Bob's Tavern, been around since 1954, you got like 19 Cactus Clubs. And I'll tell you, Cactus Club gets a bad rap in Vancouver. It's probably a little too expensive. This is a decent meal. I'm not gonna rag on the Cactus Club. Either way, it's just it's like a TGI Fridays, but, you know, a little bit more buttoned down. For those of you who don't live here. So being in San Francisco is cool, but it has Vancouver problems, but American sized. just for being a larger city. Like, there's wealth inequality in Vancouver in a major way, but in San Francisco, you know, there'll be like a coffee shop served entirely by literal robots right next to like 9 homeless people sleeping on the street. And you can, that's, if you are like, NL, that's not okay to say. You're kind of misjudging my point here for sure. Sorry, I had a caffeinated burp there simultaneously. And then like, I was losing it in the traffic a little bit. Because we were at this intersection. It was downtown San Francisco at like 4:30 p.m. It was real busy. You know, I'm sure, and again, I just want to get out in front of this. If you're from somewhere else that has worse traffic and you're like, downtown San Francisco, try driving on the I-17 at rush hour between Dallas and San Antonio. It's wham, wham, wham. Okay, your life's worse. Congratulations. You get no sympathy from me. We should all be in Teslas at this point. Sorry, I've just decided to start calling them Teslas just to irritate people. And I think it's working based on early polling. Please give me a speed upgrade. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, okay, so like it's a one-way street. So in the leftmost lane, there's people turning left to go onto another street. The traffic is so bad, literally you can't make the left turn in a single light. So, you know, at every light, there's 3 or 4 cars that want to turn left. So there's just a hugely overstuffed lane, all with people trying to turn left, but there's no space for them to turn left. So what do? Turn the car off, wait for the space. It was basically their approach. I don't know what else you can do, and I'm just being genuine. You know, the pipe is stuck. You gotta wait for the pipe to unwork itself. But the people behind the cars that are turning left were just honking and going like, I mean, I don't know. This is where it's just, I've talked about it before, the selfish honk in a car. I've honked recently, I'm willing to admit. You know, you get a license in Canada, you can honk 6 times a year. After that, they start to give you demerits. But I was driving straight on a green light. In Canada, you have the ability to turn right on a red light as long as it's safe. I think the whole country wide, as long as there's no sign that says otherwise, which there is in some high traffic areas here. But anyway, you didn't sign up for your MTO driving test for this episode, so enjoy the G1, boys. I was driving straight in the right lane, and then a car turned and kind of stopped halfway through the lane. So I said, okay, my driving instructor, Paul, Young Drivers of Ontario, cover the horn, get ready. Started to push into my lane, hit the horn, and I was like, you know what, I did a good thing today. I prevented a car accident from some guy. I'm pretty sure that he saw me and was just like, I'm just gonna go. And I said, mister, I have the right of way. But a lot of the honks I experience here, and definitely like all the honks I experience there in San Francisco, are just selfish honks, in my opinion. Just a honk that's like, why slow? Me go fast, you know? Like, I don't understand what you want to do when the whole road is packed. You know, there's clowns to the left or you jokers to the right. And you're gonna honk and they're gonna, oh, sorry, sir, am I impeding your progress? Let me phase my car out of existence so that you can get to the Napa Valley a little faster. Like, there's nothing to be done. I really didn't think you could breach my impenetrable defenses there. And if by the way, you have an opinion on the honk, like the honk is meant to be a more complex idea, like, hey, have you reconsidered going straight instead of turning left? It's taking a long time to turn left. I need to go straight, but I'm stuck in this lane. You know? Well, your honk's not going to accomplish that. Nobody's moving. Why don't you just get out and talk to them? You might as well just get out of your car and then go up and say hello to them. Anyway. Those are most of my anecdotes. No, I didn't have a mocha, soy, frappuccino, kombucha, pokerito in San Francisco. We went to a nice steakhouse. I'm invincible right now, even though the music hasn't changed. We were treating friends of ours. It's nice, you know, because we have friends and colleagues who work in San Francisco because it's kind of like a mecca of games press. game development as well. Less so development, but you know, GDC is there, and like a lot of developers have studios there, and you know, a lot of PR is based there. So a lot of media events. I've been to San Francisco a lot over the years for stuff like that. So we've got a little bit of a network there. It's nice. And we went to a steakhouse, and I didn't realize. You know, I've been to 2 steakhouses in my life, and they were both, well, as long as you ignore like the Outback, you know. I've been to 2 steakhouses in my life, and they were both within the past month. The steakhouse we went to when we were in Whistler, it had like built-in sides for the meal. Why not get another speed down? Let's get ridiculous. So, you know, when you ordered a steak, it was also like, hey, you know, do you want a baked potato? Do you want mashed potatoes? Or do you want, you know, it was a fancy place, so they weren't called fries, they were called frites, you know? Or do you want a salad? But, the place we went to in San Francisco, when you order, the dude is literally like, just so you know, what you ordered is just a steak. If you want sides, the sides are in another part of the menu. So one of the people we were with was like, I'll take a side of Brussels sprouts. And then I was like, you know what? I'll take a side of Brussels sprouts. And the waiter was like, no, you won't. The portions are large enough to share. And he forced me to reconcile my desire for Brussels sprouts with my respect for him as a member of the institution. And I said, you know what? I trust you. I'll have the Swiss chard. And I hate to say it, the Swiss chard was better than the Brussels sprouts. He was right. What is Swiss chard? You know, it's like bougie lettuce. You know, it's one of those lettuce alternatives that's like, I don't like iceberg lettuce. Give me a radicchio. This, I don't know why I feel like this run has gone on so long. It really hasn't. I also willingly re-rolled a Mom's Knife run, but I'm feeling good. I'm having a good time today. I'm ready to play some Isaac. Ready to enjoy my solitude. I'm resisting the temptation to turn this into like a, well, I'm an old man bit. It's really just like, you know, when I was in my 20s, I probably should have had this attitude. But I was like, nah, I want to stay out. Now, you know, I'm 30 years old. Literally, it's not like, it's not my logical brain saying, you should stay in. It's my limbic system is like, go to bed, old man. What is the Malcolm in the Middle quote? The future is now, old man. What have I done? What is happening? We should still win easily. You know what it was? Oh my god, I think we have shielded tiers too. It was definitely Pencil plus Ipecac that put us in that dangerous position there. Plus eyeball tiers, plus, I don't even know, like this exact situation right here. There's a lot on the go, is I guess all I'm trying to get at. We will still win easily. Just gotta stick a couple shots in on him. Weird run, you know, the fact that we died at the start of this one is a little embarrassing, but life goes on. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. It helps a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. See ya!